Just thinking about the next week's agenda.
Yeah.
We could just, if you think there might be wise to do 2 different agendas, just have like a version of the cow at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m.
Yeah. And then a regular or a special meeting.
Special meeting.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait 7.
Yeah. Right. Because then it's a definite finite or 2 separate. Yeah.
2 separate. And I know that I haven't committed 5. I'm sure they could probably adjust. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and I could ask Scott. We could even say we'll resume, or the second meeting will start 15 minutes after conclusion of closed session or something, just in case it does go over. Yeah. Just a thought.
Okay, so here we are. It's a little bit past 7, and of course our official start time is scheduled to be 7 o'clock for this business meeting. We'd like to see people here in the chamber with us. So I'm now officially called to order our Kalamazoo City Commission business meeting for Monday, June 16th, 2025. Clerk Boylan, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cooney. Present. Commissioner Decker.
Here.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Present.
Commissioner Pradel. Present. Commissioner Wilson. Present. Vice Mayor Hess.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. Thank you very much, Clerk Borling. So we are honored this evening to have Sister Sue McCrary from the Congregation of St. Joseph here with us to get us started on the right foot. And I'm going to ask her to come forward to provide us an invocation. And I'm also going to ask everyone to stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Sister.
Thank you very much. I did a prayer service with the sisters at Nazareth this morning and told them I was coming to do this, and they said, take our love and support to the commissioners. So they're with me here. So this evening we prayed, loving God, creator of all, we ask you to help us be aware of your presence here in this meeting space. We ask you to bless our commissioners with wisdom and grace, integrity and honesty, trust, and all that they need to continue the work of building our city. We ask you to bless those who are attending the meeting, that they may speak from their hearts, that they may pay attention and listen and help us to become a better community. And I want to share a Celtic version of the Lord's Prayer. Holy One, beyond all names, eternal wellspring, may love rise again in us today, with food for every table, shelter for every family, and reverence for every life. Forgive us our failings in love, and free us from all falseness, that the light of our souls may shine and the strength of our spirits endure for earth and all its people, this day, tonight, and forever. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you again, Sister. Appreciate you being here. We're down to adoption of the formal agenda, so a couple items. It's been, Commissioner Cooney relayed to me that there's an individual that would like item G9, which is the request for the tax rate for the DDA to be pulled and put on the regular agenda. And then our agenda item G1 under unfinished business will be pulled from tonight's agenda as well. That discussion will not be occurring. I'm sorry, J1. Yep. Thank you, Vice Mayor. J1 will be pulled from tonight's agenda. That topic of discussion is going to be at our meeting now a week from today on Monday, June 23rd at 7 o'clock, and that will really be the item on our agenda for that meeting. Anything else, commissioners, that you would like to have pulled from the consent agenda and moved to the regular agenda? All right, seeing no one, the amended agenda stands in. Next, communications. Manager Ritzma.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. Now is the opportunity for public comments. This is a chance for people who would like to comment on any topic to come forward. You have 4 minutes. Please state your name and whether you live in the city.
Hi, my name is Shona Espinoza. I would like to say that when we are out in public spaces and you don't speak to us normally and we're at a Juneteenth event, please don't come up to us in our face and fake like you like us and want to speak to us. That to me is very disrespectful and not mindful of other people's spaces. With that being said, it's hot outside. We need some cooling stations out there. We need water out there. Like me being hot just in a car with the windows down, I can just imagine how our unhoused is doing. Also, we need to address that we have to figure out this housing crisis sooner than later, because if we don't, you know how many people are going to be out on the street because they're on the verge of losing their housing because rent is too damn high. There are no things put in place to catch people that are about to be put out on the streets. Our seniors, our vets, they're barely having income come in, and that's not even enough to pay their mortgage or their rent or even money to stay with somebody. Our vets and our seniors, there's no reason why there is no help, but there is not enough help or enough options for them. Our children should never be out on the street. It's not safe. Not safe in so many ways. There's not safe because there's harmful things out there. KDPS is not safe for our children. There are so many different things. We need housing now. We need to sit down and have a real conversation with those that are really doing the work, not having conversations that are doing performative work just to make themselves look better. Y'all need to have conversations with real individuals that are out here doing the real work. That needs to happen soon, because this administration is literally destroying anything that gets in its way to have power. And we need to make sure Kalamazoo residents are safe and are taken care of. Those that are the most vulnerable in our community, they need protection, they need safety, they need housing, they need food, they need water, they need basic needs that aren't being met. Mental health is another thing that needs to be brought to where they are, because it's so hard for those that are unhoused or those that have mental issues to get to mental services or get to places that they need. It's very important. We come here time and time again because we care about our community. It's election year. It is election year. So we want you all to make sure that you're doing your due diligence for what you said that you were going to do when you got elected in. And not be out here only because it's election year, or not only come out here and talk to people because it's election year, because we're going to vote your asses out one at a time. Do better by your residents.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, I'm Kay. I just want to say to some of you, especially the whites over here, is that you guys need to start listening to people who actually still respect you, who still believe in you, and who want to do things the way that, follow a process. Because if the community had another way, I'm telling you, we'd take a very different approach to this. So you're not listening to the people who are coming and tell you to mind diversity, to mind your anti-racism, to consider the black and brown community. When you do this work, I heard a community member talk about brush processes. I remember about 3 years ago now, this commission had to admit that because they rushed on funding, that it was not distributed equitably. And this feels like a rush process. Like, I want to make sure that you all know, like, the OIR report spoke very specifically about the city manager, his insularity. It was from the top. It said leadership is unable to do any introspection. It spoke of a very bad culture within KDPS. This is who we need to hire somebody very different. And I know that got ignored, and you all did the whole recommendations, and those were met, but the underlying themes were those. And so we need to make sure that we're picking somebody different and stop trying to brush things under the rug and not be anti-racist, because this is all about racism. The housing crisis is because of racism. The homelessness problem is because of racism. Everything is because this is a racist system, and black and brown people always have to fight for our rights, and we are currently doing that now. We're doing that now. Why? Because this administration has shown they don't care about us. And you know what? It kind of shows here, especially on this whiter side. It shows that y'all do not care when it really comes out. I hear you guys, and you know, when I first started doing this, I was very surprised every time I heard y'all talk about being anti-racist, and this is such an equitable city. I'm like, wow. On the surface, y'all have those catchphrases y'all use to make you guys seem good, like you guys are, you know, saying these little cliche things, but when it comes down to the action, we do not see that. We do not see that you have an interest to systemically challenge yourself, challenge the system. You're sitting comfortably like we didn't have to fight for these rights. Like, you guys don't have the power to change the legislation, to do something for the community, okay? Because the statistics have been presented to you time and time again. I think I sound like a broken record talking about the Alice statistics, but it just proves it. Everything you do, it leaves us behind. And it seems like, good, this developer, he's going to do this and he's going to create jobs here. Are they going to pay over $23 an hour so people can afford housing? Or is it just going to be another developer who doesn't care? Why? Because the ordinance isn't even being enforced. Like, people talk about the strides that Kalamazoo does in housing, but that ordinance isn't being enforced the way it's supposed to be until now that there was community pressure, and from the Civil Rights Board, the pressure came. Now y'all want to do what's right. Do what's right before we come to you and tell you to do what's right. We wouldn't have to be here if you guys were listening to the people who are in your ears all the time telling you to be anti-racist, telling you to get yourselves educated, because it's on you. Google is free, and the resources are out there. People will give you a list of books to read. You're all not doing that work because everything you do is white-centered, and you all need to acknowledge that, okay? You guys need to acknowledge that everything is done for the benefit of white people in the city, because the statistics prove that. And so you really need to listen to those people, because we're reaching a boiling point in this country. And that's all I need.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daniel Oropesa. Been here in this city of Kalamazoo since 1985. I've been here a few times throughout the years for the Kalamazoo County ID, Michigan Driver's Licenses for All, and a few other necessity talks that we had throughout the years. But here, before I came today, I did make a phone call last week to quite a few community leaders here in our very own town, very well-known individuals. I made a call, and respectfully, they told me that I need to talk to the commissioners one-on-one. But the things that have been going on, it's not just one by one. The world is watching, the state is watching, and my biggest fear is the community. So today, I would like to talk about ICE. ICE has been terrorizing Michigan, as well as various parts of the nation. This is injustice, and I am calling out every single community member, respectfully our officials, to speak out and protect our community members. Despite government claims, these raids have not focused on public safety. Instead, they begun sweeping attacks on immigrant communities, ripping parents from children, workers from jobs, and neighbors from our neighborhoods. Innocent people who are trying to build their own American dream. I call it American nightmare. I urge our community of Kalamazoo, the people behind me, the people in front of me, in surrounding areas to be careful and to know your rights, your human rights. When approached by immigration authorities, remember, our unity is stronger than their hate. Numbers of counties are adding up, entering into the 287 agreement, and I'm hoping everyone in this room know what a 287 agreement is. With ICE enforcement and removal operation, they are participating in the task force model, which gives sheriff's deputies most of the power of immigration enforcement agents. There are 5 total counties in the state of Michigan that are into this agreement with the 287. Jackson, Taylor, Roscommon, and our neighbors, Calhoun, and our neighbors, Berrien County. The cloud is getting darker and darker. Our community in Kalamazoo, I encourage to stand in solidarity with immigrant communities following with this last couple weeks events in Los Angeles, in El Valle de Texas, and a lot of places around the world. I am asking Kalamazoo if there's a plan. Should we buckle up or should we unbuckle? As a community organizer, and I wear a lot of hats in Southwest Michigan, on advocating, organizing, and mobilizing, please reach out. Michigan hotline is 269-308-4025. We can help you, and we need to stay strong. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Hi, Mayor and City Commission. I actually had a million other things to say, but I'm going to address a couple of things the last couple of speakers said. For starters, I was raised in South Florida, and I've had a lot of buddies in law enforcement shot at. One guy was stabbed, a Cuban-American, Danny Sanchez, stabbed 7 or 8 times, shot at 10 to 12 times, and he survived. They put their ass on the line each and every day. Are there bad cops out there? Absolutely. But Chief Boysen sitting here, he doesn't probably have to do that. He could have come, he could have sent somebody else here. And also, this country has been divided ever since hyphens came in. African American, if you call every black person African American, you are systematically implying that somebody couldn't be from Haiti or Jamaica or Italy. It's stigmatizing everybody. I wish we would drop the hyphens. This country was so divided lately. Yes, half the people supported President Trump and the other half didn't. But that's 50% of the population. And the bottom line is, both of my grandfathers came from Lebanon. Lebanon is part of Asia. Nobody would dare call me Asian American, maybe because I don't look like I'm Oriental. I'm tired of the dividing, the divisiveness. If anything, this administration, for the young lady that said this administration, President Trump has done more for the minority communities than any other president ever. For starters, he openly hired the first gay person, Rick Grinnell, contrary to Pete Buttigieg. He's hired quite a few people. Women have run his campaigns. He got many people released early that were given stiff sentences on the Clinton crime bill under 1994, championed by Senator Joe Biden. He's directly responsible for the incarceration of more blacks and minorities than any other single legislator ever. Joe Biden was A-OK throwing the book, and Kamala went after her own people, threw the book at them. She didn't even know her own ethnicity. She told people she was African American. Her father said, no, you're Indian and Jamaican. And that's really sad. She didn't even know her own ethnicity. The bottom line is that I want to see this community thrive. I've mentioned in the past about bringing Lime, those scooters, the bikes. I was in Lansing the other day. They're everywhere. That would help you promote commerce all around the greater Kalamazoo area. It's easy for somebody to hop on one of those and go patronize local restaurants, local businesses on lunch break. It's a no-brainer. I'm certain the city could arrange a deal with that, and that's a way to promote that. Additionally, I know if when I hear the term, nobody is above the law, that didn't apply to President Trump. I mean, that applied to him. And also, I want to know that when, like for instance, my grandfathers came over from Lebanon, they were both originally rejected, and they said America had their quota of Semitic people. The people on the border with Mexico, Hispanic Americans, and you can research this, in California, New Mexico, Texas, and Arizona, voted for President Trump. Hispanic Americans on the border of 75 to 80%. Everybody wants people to come here. Just do it legally. You're not different than anybody else. You're not different. You're not different than anybody else. My relatives did it. I'm sorry, it's my turn speaking. And I just do it legally. It's not hatred. Just do it the way other people have done it. And I'm sorry, anybody that's black who's came here, whose ancestors came here, that was not anything to do with anyone alive now. We can't fix that. The bottom line is, I want everyone to be treated equally. And when you hear about the minority community, that's my whole point. Everybody, and we should have a lot of respect for law enforcement.
Thank you. Hey, just a comment here. So, generally, thank you. I appreciate that. This chamber, whether you like it or not, is a space for people to make their comments, whether you agree or not. And I generally ask people not to clap because, and one reason I give is because if we're going to allow clapping, then we're going to allow catcalling and booing. And so you can't have a both, it's not going to work if this is how people are going to be. This is a place where people can come and express their opinion, and you can disagree wholeheartedly. If you want to catch up and talk to somebody outside, that's fine. But they have their 4 minutes without interruption. So please, thank you. Next, please.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Tina McClinton. I live on Lake Stewart. I live in the lovely floodplain area. I live next to the last green space in my neighborhood, the one that I kind of heard through the grapevine is getting ready to be destroyed, which means we're going to flood more. I was watching a zoning meeting the other night, and Remy kept bringing up, what about Miss Tina? No one's talked to me about anything. No one's talked to any of my neighbors about anything. I don't know what it's about. I didn't catch the full meeting, but I just happened to hear her sticking up for the neighborhood and sticking up how that neighborhood has always become a dump site for the city. And she had bought it, but of course everybody else voted yes. So we are in a climate change, guys. All this strange, weird, crazy, wild weather. The more trees you take away, we lost a lot with the tornado, but the more trees you take away, the worse the pollution is, the worse the flooding gets. The more land you take away in a floodplain area to build, the more you drown your residents of Kalamazoo out. I've been here for 7 years asking you to fix the flooding, to do something with your storm drains and your sewers that don't work. Now I see on the news, oh, we're going to fix the flooding in Arcadia Creek. We come up with $38 million to do it. But you can't come up with the $3 million to fix the flooding in the poorer neighborhood. Instead, you leave us to deal with it. Like I said, climate change is real. I know it's not none of your homes that will be underwater. It would be our homes. But we work hard for what we have. It might not be much, but it's ours. Can't afford to rent anywhere. Can't afford an apartment. It's ridiculous. Everything's so expensive in Kalamazoo. And all these changes you're doing downtown, people can't afford to live here, just the rich. know that's who you'd rather have here, but you still need to have some citizens here too. Some real people that actually care about their neighborhood, that actually care about the world. They're not all about money and what they can get out of it. I came here and, nothing's been done. Nothing. And I wanted to say this. Thank you, Remy, for sticking up for us little people, because no one else does. No one. 7 years, guys. 7 years, and no one's fixed anything. And you're still trying to destroy natural spaces that we need to survive. The children need it to survive. They need clean air. Mature trees give clean air. It shouldn't always be about building. It shouldn't always be about tearing down this spot. Yeah, you plant little bitty trees. How many years is it going to take for that little bitty tree to help someone live? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Sean Hampton. Normally, I don't attend these meetings, but I do live in the city of Kalamazoo. I wanted to address you, Mayor Anderson, in regards to some comments that you made during the last meeting. End quote, we could see a diminishment in the number of housing choice vouchers, project-based subsidies, the kinds of assistance that allow for a very low-income person to rent. I don't know how many people were offended by that, but I sure was. When a lot of people here in Kalamazoo work 2 to 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And you wonder why kids are running out in the middle of the night, middle of the day, causing chaos in our city. Something's got to change here in Kalamazoo. I've been here all of my life, and I have seen more kids shooting and killing people than I've ever seen in my entire 26 years of living. So something needs to change, and it starts with this commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please.
Good evening. Jeff Messer, city resident, Davis Street Park and Skateboard Plaza adopter, and Rank My Vote volunteer. I want to give
Upside down, Jeff.
What?
It's upside down.
Oh, is it? Sorry about that. There we go. Thank you, David. I want to give the public an update on Rank My Vote's statewide petition drive to get a ranked choice voting constitutional amendment on the November 2026 statewide ballot. We were scheduled to present our application to the Board of State Canvassers this Friday, but last week they announced they were canceling the regular meeting on June 20. Instead, they've scheduled a special meeting for 1 week later on Friday, June 27, which has pushed our entire campaign back a week. If we're approved at the June 27 meeting, we have to print 15 sample petitions and submit them to Bureau of Elections for their approval before we're permitted to circulate petitions. So it now appears that we won't begin collecting signatures until shortly after Independence Day. In the meantime, we'll continue being out in the community, recruiting volunteers to help us collect our goal of 611,231 signatures from any registered Michigan voter. Anyone interested in volunteering can meet us at the Bank Street sidewalk of the Kalamazoo Farmers Market on Saturday mornings from 9 to noon, or sign up to volunteer on our website at rankmyvote.org/volunteer, where my is MI, the postal abbreviation for Michigan. In addition to canvassing out in the community, we have many other volunteer positions, including ones you can do from home, like phone banking, data entry, and graphic design. People under the age of 18 and people who are not U.S. citizens can help us in all volunteer positions except for collecting petition signatures. Again, visit rankmyvote.org/volunteer if you have any interest in volunteering with us in any way. Another way you can help our campaign is by making a donation on our website at rankmyvote.org/donate. Even though we're collecting our petition signatures with all volunteer labor, we still have expenses, like the lawyers who wrote our constitutional amendment and the printing of the petition sheets themselves. I estimate that we'll be printing 100,000 or more petition sheets at a cost of 25 to 50 cents each. That means our petition sheets alone will cost us $25,000 to $50,000. Even small donations help because the big money donors like to see a lot of individual donations. Again, make a donation on our website at rankmyvote.org/donate. If we get enough valid petition signatures within 175 days, qualify our constitutional amendment for the November 2026 statewide ballot, and receive majority support from Michigan voters, ranked choice voting will take effect in Michigan in 2028. At first, this will impact only 6 positions: presidential electors, governor, attorney general, secretary of state, U.S. senator, and U.S. representative. State legislative positions, state senator and state representative, may come later. Our constitutional amendment will activate the ranked choice voting charter amendments already approved by voters in Kalamazoo, East Lansing, Royal Oak, Ann Arbor, and Ferndale. If we're successful, Kalamazoo's first ranked choice voting local election will be held in November 2029. Until then, please visit us on the Bank Street sidewalk at the Kalamazoo Farmers Market on Saturday mornings from 9 to noon, and we'll be glad to answer all your questions about how ranked choice voting works and its benefits. Thank you. If anyone would like a written copy of my remarks, I'll be giving, contact the City Clerk's office, because I'll be giving City Clerk Scott Bowling a copy of my remarks in minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment this evening? All right, seeing no one, this is the end of the public comment period. Next is the consent agenda. Manager Ritzma.
The following items are presented for approval. First, approval of the purchase of Dark Trace software licensing from SHI International through the MyDeal Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $158,517.77. Next is approval of a professional services agreement with Peerless Midwest Incorporated for well rehabilitation work and flow testing in the amount of $198,550. Next is the approval of a professional services agreement with Prine Newhoff for Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Contract Number 3 for the Richland Water Main Extension in the amount of $336,000. Next is the approval of the purchase of the AT&T Virtual Private Network and Net Bond for Cloud Network Security Services through the MyDeal Cooperative Purchasing Program in the amount of $372,492. Next is a cell source purchase with Pure Air for carbon filtration unit carbon replacement in the amount of $535,888. Next is the approval of a professional services agreement with Prime Newhoff for Drinking Water State Revolving Fund Contract Number 4 for non-copper water service line replacement in the amount of $582,000. Next is the approval of a settlement agreement and mutual release regarding the Metropolitan Center project and Arcadia Festival Place improvements. Next is the adoption of a resolution confirming the 2025 assessment roll. Next is the adoption of a resolution requesting that the Michigan Department of Transportation include the structure on Crosstown Parkway over Portage Creek in the local bridge program for 2028 funding. Next is the adoption of a resolution requesting the Michigan Department of Transportation include the bridge on Reed Street in the local bridge program for 2028 funding. Next, the approval of the release of the City of Kalamazoo's interest in 3 easement agreements for the Kalamazoo River Valley Trailway bicycle route through the Event Center site through North Park Street and Northwest Midge Avenue. And finally, approval of the mayor's appointments to the Civil Rights Board, the appointment of Joshua DeBoer for a term ending on March 31st, 2028, and the appointment of Will Sipling for a term expiring on March 31, 2028.
Thank you very much, City Manager. So, Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to approve items 1 through 8 and 10 through 13, and authorize the City Manager to sign all related documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hoffman.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Decker.
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes, abstaining from 12 due to an employer conflict.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Commissioners. The items on the consent agenda are approved. Now we're at the regular agenda. Manager Ritzma.
Approved.
Approval of a contract with USA Earthworks LLC for drinking water state revolving fund contract number 3, Richland Township Water Main Extension Project in the amount of $5,672,667.50.
Thank you, Manager Risma. So I know we've got a whole list of related items on our regular agenda.
Yeah,
and
so
I think we're going to cover those all at once. Is that right?
Public Services Director James Baker will give a presentation on each of the next 5 items.
Director Baker, happy to have you here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Good evening, City Manager, City Commissioners, City Attorney. We've got several items on the agenda tonight that are all kind of related to water infrastructure, so we thought it would be well fitting to kind of provide a presentation overview on all these items together. I'll start out by saying that all of these items have been before the Commission previously, either when you applied for the funding opportunity or in some of our updates that we've been providing. So there's not a real deep dive into any of these projects. This is kind of just a high-level overview. And please ask questions if there's any questions or comments about the projects themselves. So just kind of like we said, we're going to talk about the projects broadly, kind of from a high level. We're going to talk about some funding details, and then in next steps, I'm going to talk about some of the schedules and some of the construction impacts that we're going to see when those projects actually start. So just to go right into projects overview, so in total we've got about $94 million of water infrastructure work that we're talking about here tonight. 4 of those projects are under the Drinking Water State Revolving Loan Fund or program, and then we've got another project which is a cooperative agreement between the city and the arena developer CD Arena LLC. Those projects include much needed replacement and treatment at 2 water stations, then consolidating the flow from those water stations into 1 treatment plant, and then distributing that into the system, extending water main out in some PFAS contamination areas in Richland Township, another round of lead service line replacements in the city of Kalamazoo, and then kind of a multifaceted project including drinking water, sewer, and stormwater work in West Inch from Kalamazoo Ave to Michigan Avenue. Getting into some details on, how those projects shake out, what the breakdown is. So contract 1, that is a contract to build a raw water transmission line from station 14 to station 5. So that's going to be kind of a large diameter, not necessarily a water main because we're not going to have any services to it, but that's going to take water from the new wells at station 14, and it's going to deliver that to the new treatment plant that's at Station 5. So that's contract 2. This is going to be a large treatment plant. It's going to treat the flows from both Station 5 and Station 14. A little bit more background. Station 5 was built in 1914. It's 110 years old. It's served the community very well, and it's very time for replacement. Station 14, not as old. It's only 70 years young, but still it's in time for replacement, and we want to kind of follow our consolidation plan and take 2 stations and make them into 1. So 1 footprint that we can control, have better precision and accuracy under what that water quality is when it goes out. Contract 3, this is another contract in the suite of work that we've got going on under DWSRF. That's extending the water main, the public water supply out in Richland Township. There's several homes out in Richland Township that were impacted by an environmental issue with PFAS dating back to 1984. So this just continues this work and kind of extends the water system out in that area. The last contract in this project list, contract 4, that's additional lead service line replacement work in Edison. That's 1,300 additional lead service line replacements in Edison. If you remember back to last year, we crossed that 5,000th lead service line replacement threshold. That's our halfway point. We've been working working really hard this year. We've got a contract in place for about 1,000. We've got already, I think, 450 replacements done as of the end of May. So we're really chugging along on that contract. So when that contract ends, that gets us to 6,000. This is 1,300 that we're awarding right now. City crews are diligently working on their own list. So we expect by the end of this work, by the end of contract 4, we'll have 7,500 lead service lines completed. If you remember a couple weeks ago, we were talking about an application for FY26 DWSRF. So we've already applied, we've set that application in, and that's going to come in, if funded, to continue that goal and to continue to take us towards our completion goal. And that has, I believe, 2,400 lead service line replacements in it. So we can certainly see the light at the end of the tunnel in terms of lead service line replacement, and we want to continue to keep our foot on the gas. It's extremely important that we continue to do this work. We've said it before, there's no safe level of lead, and so we're going to work as hard as we can to get this lead out as quick as we can in Kalamazoo. Shifting gears here a little bit, that kind of closes the door on the DWSRF projects, and now we're talking about this project in Westnedge Ave. So you may have seen some traffic control on Westnedge if you drove on Westnedge today. That's for paving. So that's the traffic control that's out there is for paving that's going to happen from Michigan Ave to Vine Street. You see that we shifted everything over. We're going to be working in kind of those drive lanes that were on the east side of the road while traffic's on the west side of the road. It's going to go pretty quick. All that work's going to be done before school starts back up. What I'm talking about tonight is much more involved. This is going to be a total closure of Westnedge from Kalamazoo Ave to Michigan Ave. So when this work starts, and we're programming this to start probably around July 7th. So then if you're south on Westnedge, you'll detour onto Michigan to West Main, and then Michigan Avenue, and then turn left. We've already got a left arrow set up for that. We'll be working on that light timing, so when this starts, we'll have just kind of that quick, it's about a 1-block detour to get you around, or about a 2-block detour to get you around. What does the work involve? This work involves a redundant transmission main for drinking water system, replacing an old 1930s era main that was undersized. It also is going to replace a section of 42-inch interceptor, and then it also realigns Arcadia Creek and sets us up for our future work that we're going to start, probably next year, where we start moving forward with those Arcadia Creek improvements. There was a whole lot of great work the city did back in the early 90s and really solved a lot of stormwater infrastructure issues, but that work stopped on Westnedge. So we're picking back up where that left off, and we're going to move that towards the west. Getting into some more specific funding details, these numbers are all kind of in the previous slides. I will tell you that there's some additional items in here. Construction, engineering, contingency. Those construction engineering contracts, you had 2 of them on your consent agenda. There's going to be 2 more coming on July 7th. That's going to kind of wrap up the deal on those. All the construction you have in front of you tonight. The planning, design, and administration, those are dollars already spent. And so that kind of, you add it all up, all the eligible costs, we're sitting just over $100 million. There's a $20 million grant from the state. It's an emerging contaminant grant. It's essentially addressing the PFAS issues, so that knocks it down to $80 million. This $80 million is not at market rate bonds, not at 20-year bonds, but it's 40 years at 2%. So that's an amazing financial assistance that we're getting here at the City of Kalamazoo. And, reminder that we anticipated that this work would cost over $110 million. So it's about $10 million under that. We really had some great bids, a lot of great competition. In fact, we've got some out-of-state competition on some of these contracts. And then that $20 million grant from the state has been really helpful. So altogether, about $80 million on that DWSRF projects. Funding on Westnedge, similar story. We've got multiple funds coming together to fund this work. Water Capital is paying for that transmission line. Wastewater is paying for the wastewater infrastructure. We've got major streets that are paying for kind of that street reconstruction aspect of it. And then we've got over $6 million from the developer. Altogether, about $13 million of work, only about $6 million coming from the city. So it's another great opportunity, another great partnership to get a lot of work done. One of the things that's in your packet, it's in the background memo, it talks about a one dig approach. So there's a lot of work that we've got to do in Westnedge, a lot of work that we've had kind of in the plan for a number of years. I would say most recently, probably dating all the way back to the 1990s, when that work was completed on Arcadia Creek, but stopped at Westnedge. We know that sewer is undersized as it goes to the west, but we just have not been able to wrap our hands around that work, to really wrap our hands around the funding. So this provides us a boost in the funding. It's a one dig approach. We've got work that is going to get done on behalf of the city, and the contractor is going to do work that the contractor needs to do while they're out there too. So instead of us going out and getting a contractor and doing this work and then opening the road back up, and then the contractor the developer coming out and closing the road and doing the work, it really helps to do this work all together. And so we're taking advantage of that cooperation. Next steps, if approved, this project on Westnedge would start July 7th, would be a total closure. That detour would then be down Michical and would go to about December, when we anticipate being able to open a lane back for traffic. There's still going to be work that's going to be happening, and then probably wrap up around June or July of next year. That station 5 and 14 consolidation work, and I'm including that transmission line between the two stations. That's going to occur from really this August or September, when Eagle gives their notice of approval, all the way through April and into May of 2028. And so that April 2028 date kind of continues to echo through all these projects that are under that DWSRF funding. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work over the next 3 years, and it's a lot of work that we're excited to bring forward tonight that is really quite a deal, given the cooperation with the developer and given the large grant amount that we got from the state. So with that, turn it back over to you, Mayor, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Director Baker. Questions, Commission? Commissioner Pradel.
Director Baker, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about, in the packet it talks about how Station 5 and 14, if we don't get in front of this potentially in 2029, we might actually have to take these stations offline. And it talks about what would be the repercussions for us as a community if we had to take those stations offline. It talks about that would result in a 2,800 gallon per minute water deficiency for the city and surrounding townships. So can you describe what that looks like and why that might not be such a great idea?
Sure. Yeah, I'm gonna, just kind of try to step through that. There's a whole lot of information there, and I'm going to go try to be a little bit careful, because we're talking about regulations, we're talking about PFAS. I want to make sure everyone's clear. So first and foremost, the Kalamazoo water system meets Michigan PFAS standards, Michigan maximum contaminant levels. Michigan has 7 contaminants under PFAS that we're regulated by, and we're below all of those. So we meet Michigan Safe Drinking Water Act standards. The future federal standards, which are programmed to go into effect in 2029, essentially will take those Michigan standards and lower them even lower. They're going to lower those really to the point of detection. And PFAS overall is going towards a program of zero. So ultimately, the long-term goal for PFAS is to get to zero. So what does that mean for Station 5 and 14? So we talked about Station 5, 110 years old, time for replacement. Near Station 5, about 1,000 foot away from it, we have a known PFAS contamination site. Now, it's not in Station 5. Station 5 hasn't pulled that plume towards it, but that risk is there. So there is that potential that we could start to pull that plume. If we did not have PFAS treatment at Station 5, and we started to pull that plume towards Station 5, we'd have to shut down Station 5. If commissioners remember, there used to be some pump stations in Millwood, Stations 17 and 18. We took those stations offline because we were not going to be able to meet Michigan PFAS standards with those stations operational. So that's a process that we have to go through with Eagle. We don't just go in and turn off the light switch. We actually have to pull the pumps and pull the electric and make it inoperable by anybody. So the pumps are pulled, there's well plates over them. We don't want to do that again. We can't do that with Station 5 and Station 14 because we're not going to be able to meet our demands. And what I mean by demands, summertime, wintertime, doesn't matter when folks turn on that faucet, we want water to come out. So we're really being proactive as a community. We've kind of established a level of service standard that we're going to have to meet. We know that the community has high expectations for water quality. The iron in the water, that's going to get removed. So we're going to have iron manganese removal at these stations. So this will now be our third station. Central has full iron removal already, so that's great. We get a lot of great benefits from that. We also have Station 11 that has full iron removal already, but we have a lot of stations that don't have that full iron removal. So this will add to that, and then it's got PFAS removal at the end. The system was designed to be able to handle a full challenge concentration of kind of a worst case scenario. So we can run Station 5, the future Station 5 with its PFAS treatment in place, no matter what gets pulled into that intake. It's going to be clean, safe drinking water for the future, meeting all future standards.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And just for perspective, 2,800 gallons per minute would be 4 million gallons in the course of a day for our community.
Correct. Yeah, it's a big number. It's a big number. And the benefit of this consolidation and kind of centralized treatment plant, similar to Central, you hear us talk about, is that once this becomes operational, we can do what's called base loading the station so that we program the station to run kind of all the time. And so if we satisfy the water demands in East Side High, and in Intermediate, and in Parchment, then we can start to push that water into other areas of the community. So that can kind of always make water. Central's another one of our stations, kind of a base load. It just always makes water, and once we've satisfied the demands of the low pressure district, we then start to boost that water out to other districts so that other districts can have that benefit of that iron removal as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good detailed question. Vice Mayor Hess.
Mine's not that detailed, Director Baker. I'm just, thank you for this presentation, by the way. Can you refresh us all about where Station 5 and 14 are located?
Sure. Well, Station 14 is easy because that's Spring Valley Park. So if you know where Spring Valley Park is, that's Station 14. And I would encourage you to go out there if you want to go for a walk or go enjoy one of our great City Kalamazoo parks. We're actually doing a lot of cool work out there. We're doing well drilling. So that's something that we don't really do very often, and you can kind of go see that. Station 14 is located on the kind of south bank of Spring Valley Lake. Station 5 is right on the edge of city limits on East Michigan, where the city limit is Wallace. One street over is Skippers. Skippers is technically a township street under the jurisdiction of the Road Commission, but we're kind of right there, right as you go around the curve by our leaf compost facility and the Eastwood Tavern. Thank you.
Other questions, commissioners? All right, thank you so much, Director Baker, appreciate it. And just a reminder, this isn't the only time we've talked about this topic. This may have seemed like a deep dive, but we've done deeper dives on this over the course of some months leading up to all this work. So decisions that are serious because they're big numbers, and we want to make sure that we're doing the right thing and getting in front of the issues. And I mean, I'm just so happy that that's what we can be doing here instead of chasing afterwards. So thank you for your leadership, Director Baker. So we are now at the point where we need a motion. And I need a motion to approve this will be the regular agenda item number 1. Actually, now's an opportunity for anyone in the chambers who wants to comment on this item. All right, seeing no one. The recommended action motion to approve, is there a motion? So motion made by Commissioner Cooney. Supported by Commissioner Hoffman. Further discussion, Commissioners? Commissioner Pradel.
I'll only comment on this one because there's a lot of pieces on the agenda I know we want to go, but I don't know if you all, the other folks up here, ever just like take a step back in these kind of nights and just think about the gravity of almost $94 million on one agenda. I've had the pleasure of having coffee with Director Baker, meeting in his office, conference rooms at Public Works, and has told me stories about when he was first starting that the entire capital improvements budget for the entire network, not just the city of Kalamazoo, was $3 to $5 million in a year. And here in one agenda, we're voting on $94 million. And I would say, that sounds like an inordinate amount of money, and it does, and it should feel like that. But the cost of not doing anything in these types of scenarios is far worse than the action. A few words kind of come to mind when I think about that kind of encapsulates everything that's in this package, and one is aging. You think about it, we're talking about a 111-year-old pump station, sewer main that's from the 1930s, just a far stone throw away from us here. I think about the vastness. One of these projects is out in Richland. We, as a commission, a lot of people, we're a city of 78,000 people, but we serve almost 250,000 people with fresh water and sewer. For health and safety, you heard things like PFAS and those threats, lead, and undersized sewers. Those are all threats to our health and safety and our children, our grandchildren's health and safety. This is a significant price tag. Let's be real about that. Creating a resilient, resiliency is another thing, is about creating a system that's built to last and ready for the challenges of climate change. And the last one is that it seems to me all these things are proactive, right? We're not waiting for something to fail. We're not waiting to be the next Jackson, Mississippi. We are making a conscious effort as a community and as a body to tackle these things proactively so that we're not doing it because we have to. So with that, I also thank the public for just their patience, because with this record amount of work that we're doing, it's taking a lot of construction work that's inconveniencing the public. And it's also a huge sacrifice, especially for people are struggling to get by to pay the rates that we're doing to make all this possible. So with that, I will be supporting it.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel. Other discussion on this item? All right, seeing none, Clerk Borling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H2, Manager Isma.
Approval of a contract with Peters Construction Company for drinking water, state revolving fund contract number 1, pump stations number 5 and number 14, water and transmission mains project in the amount of $9,887,702.45.
Thank you, Manager Isma. Well, as we referenced earlier, this presentation covered several of these items, including this one. Are there any questions on this one in particular from Commission? All right, seeing none, is there anyone here in the chambers that would like to comment on this one? It's item H2. Seeing there are no comments, the recommended action, Commissioners, is a motion to approve. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Further discussion, Commissioners? Seeing none, Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next is item H3, City Manager Isma.
Approval of an agreement with CD Arena LLC for the Arcadia Creek Phase 0 project, Westnedge Avenue from Kalamazoo Avenue to Michigan Avenue, in the amount of $13,124,997.05, and approval of a major streets budget amendment in the amount of $3,195,522.50.
Thank you, Manager Isma. Once again, this was an item that was covered in the previous discussion and presentation. Any particular questions on this item? Seeing none, is there anyone in the chambers that would like to comment on this item? It's item H11. Seeing no one, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion? Motion made by Commissioner Cooney, supported by Commissioner Decker. Thank you. Any further discussion here then? All right, Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Commissioner Wilson?
Abstaining due to a conflict with my employer.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H4, Manager Isma.
Approval of a contract with SWT Excavating Incorporated for drinking water state revolving fund contract number 4, non-copper service line replacements, in the amount of $15,229,588.75.
Thank you, Manager Isma. Also an item covered by the previous presentation. Any questions particular to this item? All right, seeing none, is there anyone here in the chambers that would like to comment on this item? This is item H4, correct? Seeing no one, the recommended action, Commissioners, is a motion to approve. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Pradel. Supported by Commissioner Cooney. Discussion, Commissioners? Seeing none, Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H5. City Manager Isma.
Approval of a contract with E&L Construction Group Incorporated for drinking water state revolving fund contract number 2, pump station number 5 and number 14 consolidation project, in the amount of $49,120,398.
Thank you. Once again, this was covered in the previous presentation. Any questions from Commissioners particular to this item? Seeing none, is there anyone here in the chambers that would like to comment on this item? It's regular agenda item H5. Seeing no one, the recommended action, Commissioners, is a motion to approve. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hoffman. Supported by Commissioner Decker. Discussion, Commissioners? Seeing none, Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next on the agenda is item H6. Manager Isma.
Approval of a purchase agreement with Jaya Krishman for the purchase of 510 Lawrence Street in the amount of $64,240.
Thank you so much, Manager Isma. Is there a staff report on this item?
No, but we have Sherilyn Parsons here to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you. Questions, Commissioners? All right, seeing no questions, then is there anyone here in the chambers that would like to comment on this item? If you'd like to, give us you can come forward. You'll have 3 minutes, state your name and where you live in the city. This is particular to regular agenda item H6.
I just have one quick question, if any of you can comment on it. Am I missing something that the sale of a property needs the city commission's approval? Am I missing something there? Isn't that between a landowner, a house owner, and a realtor and a second party? Am I missing something? That's all I...
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. Any other comments at this time? So the reason it's on our agenda is it's not a sales agreement between two independent parties. We're involved in this, so the city is purchasing this piece of property. That's why it's on the agenda. City, we are the purchaser, yeah. So that's why the agenda.
Mayor, I wonder if Sherilyn could come forward and make it very clear about the purchase of this property.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners.
Welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Yes, so this 510 Lawrence Street is a unit in a row home or attached unit structure. It's a building that has had a lot of difficulties and challenges. The city has acquired some of the units through a tax foreclosure sale, and the unit that we are looking to get approval to purchase tonight is the second unit that we've purchased from an out-of-state owner. So these are not owner-occupied, these were rental units that were not locally owned. So we're looking to purchase this and then work with the neighbors and the neighborhood association to do some sort of repurposing.
Thank you. Any questions further questions for staff? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone well, I guess we already went through this, so we already asked for comments from the chambers. Luckily, we had one. Thank you. So, Commissioners, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Decker.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Additional discussion, Commissioners? Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Sherilyn, for coming up and giving that little bit of information, but this is a property that I know that we have been trying as a city to get for some time, and I think this is going to be able to allow us to do more development, affordable development, specifically in that area, and take care of a lot of blight that is right there on that corner. I don't know if you guys are familiar with where it's at, but I think this is going to be a transformational, especially in that area. And, you know, when we talk about the Foundation for Excellence, this was made possible by the funds from the Foundation for Excellence for us, excuse me, to be able to go there and purchase this land. And now let's make sure we do right by the neighborhood association and by the neighborhood, and make sure we're having housing or whatever's going to be there that's going to be affordable for the individuals that would like to be there. So I am very happy with the purchase of this. It was a long, many years, I believe.
Well said, Commissioner Decker. Any further discussion? Clerk Boiling, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes. Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. We have one more regular agenda item now. That would be H7, that was formerly on the consent agenda, G9, about the DDA levy. Manager Ritzma.
Adoption of a resolution approving a request from the Downtown Development Authority to levy a tax rate of 1.9638 mils.
Welcome, Mr. Vicenzi.
Good evening. This came from the public to see what the question is.
I think the question was, how does that millage rate get established?
Okay, so kind of going back a little bit, you know, every December we bring forward a public hearing stating the millage that's planned for the following year. We then also approve the budget then in January that has the millage in it. And then we come back, at the same time we bring the assessment roll. You know, we have March Board of Review, which is when we finalize our assessments for the calendar year. And then after that point, we kind of compile all the information. We bring back the assessment roll, which was item G8 tonight. And then we also bring back, you know, the confirmation of the DDA's assessment or tax levy for final approval. And as far as when it was originally established, I don't have that information off the top of my head, but it was a number of years ago, approved under, it's now Public Act 57 of 2018, I believe, that allows for that 2 mills to be levied.
So, just to follow up on that, is a 2 mil levy that's allowed. It is due to Headley rollback that it ends up at this particular number?
Yes, we had a Headley rollback a number of years ago that brought it down just a little bit, and it's been at this number for, I believe that was 2004 was when we rolled it back.
Right. Okay. Good enough answer. Thank you, Commissioner Cooney. All right. Thank you so much. Anyone in the chambers would like to comment on this item, please come forward at this time.
Good evening, Jeff Messer, city resident. I just want to note for the record that this item was moved from the consent agenda to the regular agenda at the request of one or more citizens who were in attendance at the meeting this evening. They left at the end of public comment. I and probably the commission think it's rude for you to do that. If you're going to ask for an item to be removed from the consent agenda, you should stick around for it. I imagine the citizens would like to know how much money this millage generates and what that is used for. My understanding is that this millage originally, as you said, 2 mills, was first levied in 1989 when the DDA was established. So this is a routine item that comes up on the agenda every year, but knowing how much it generates and how often. But I just want to warn the citizens that if you abuse this, just like you used to abuse the adoption of the formal agenda part of the meeting, the commissioners are just going to stop removing stuff from the agenda for you. So please, if you ask for an item to be removed from the consent agenda, be respectful for the commission and stick around until that item comes up. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a comment? And just to follow up on that, this millage, which happens as a specific designated area called a DDA, Downtown Development Authority, which has been in place in the city of Kalamazoo for a long time, is used to support the activities of the DDA, which is now also a DEGA, Downtown Economic Growth Authority, I think is what that stands for together, but it's in the DDA budget. It funds activities. It's a special additional millage that happens within that area in order to fund activities in that area. Any discussion? Commissioner Pradel.
The fiscal impact, estimated revenue generated by 1.96 mills is $266,980.
Thank you for the exact number. So I'm losing track here. Have we had a motion or do we need a motion? We need a motion. Thank you for paying attention. Okay, so I need then a motion to adopt the resolution approving the request from the DDA to levy the tax rate of 1.9638 mils. Motion made by Commissioner Cooney, supported by Commissioner Hoffman. Further discussion? Thank you so much. Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Commissioner Decker?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next, reports and legislation. Manager Wisma.
Yeah, this evening I just want to highlight the division of 311. It's our call center for the city. And we have an employee there that's recently taken on a new role within that division. That is the data systems analyst and data collection. She took this on earlier this year. And so the 311 division will be transitioning to Salesforce software. We'll be able to better track the calls that come in and the disposition of those calls. So look forward to that work being completed within the next couple of months, and hopefully we'll be able to serve the citizens even better through that service we provide. That's it.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Just as a reminder here, the agenda was modified when we started the meeting. There was an item under JJune. That item is no longer on our agenda, and we will be discussing that agenda item at a business meeting of the City Commission, special meeting, scheduled for 7 o'clock a week from tonight, Monday, June 23rd. Now is the opportunity for commissioner comments. Any comments from commissioners this evening? Commissioner Cooney.
Thank you, Mayor. Two comments. One is I want to thank the volunteers and the staff who did such a wonderful job with the flowers in the park. It just looks great, and they spent a lot of hours in there. That's great. Secondly, I wanted to honor the 6,000 or 7,000 people that stood on Drake Road on the weekend to stand up for democracy on No King's Day. Many of the signs were very, very interesting, very powerful. The most important was we don't want a king, we want a government of and by and for the people. And stop breaking up families. And one of them was, if we have money for a parade, we have money for Medicaid. So thanks for all the people that were out there to stand up for justice and human rights.
Thank you, Commissioner Cooney. Other comments from commissioners? Commissioner Decker.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to give a shout out to our Public Works Department and all of the great work that they've been doing on clearing the streets from the debris from the last storm that we had. I know there are many neighborhoods, well, not many, but there are neighborhoods that still have not had Public Works come by yet. They're working diligently to get out there. There's a lot of trees down, and still as I drive around the city, there's just still trees everywhere. So I ask that you definitely be patient with them. They are getting to you. I know they are, I believe it is on the last part, which is Zone A, I believe, and that pickup began June 9th, and I believe it also goes until, I believe it's either June 22nd or 27th, so just be patient. They're coming. They will get to you as soon as they can, and I just want to thank everyone for their grace.
Thank you, Commissioner Decker. Other comments, commissioners? Commissioner Pradel.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to share really quick. Last week, I had a chance, and I know a number of other people had a chance to engage. There were 5 Ukrainian mayors who came to our community, and they're traveling throughout the whole country. I had a chance to be a part of giving them a tour through downtown Kalamazoo, and it was incredibly special because it was the weekend that they were here when the art fair is going on, Juneteenth, and the Doodah Parade, and how much of a stark contrast for them to see that vibrant, alive community in our downtown while they're sitting on their phones taking breaks from the tour to look to see whether their communities they were coming from had bombing damage and what they're going through. And it was just a very stark contrast of worlds, if you will. And but that leads me to the next point as well, is just thinking through the just incredible opportunities we've had as a community. We had Pride and all the festivities a week ago. We had Juneteenth this last weekend, if anybody had a chance to go downtown. The giant rally over by Ashtimo with the 6,000 to 7,000 people. I mean, that is community vibrancy, and I just love to see that engagement. In terms of comment earlier as well about the ICE raids, I mean, let's be honest about it. It's cruel, it's inhumane, and even just last Friday, a number of us were probably privy because we had people reaching out to us because there was concern that a raid had just happened at a gas station here in the city of Kalamazoo, and just noticing the panic and the fear that ensues throughout the whole community and uncertainty. And even in some cases, our own law enforcement people don't know what's going on and have to fact check and see what's going on. It's just wrong, and it's really unfortunate, and I just feel for so many of the communities and individuals that are facing those around the country. And then lastly, with the city manager search, We had our first phase tonight. I thank everybody for their engagement with the city manager search tonight. But we have 3 finalists that we have as search firms. It looks like there's going to be hopefully a special meeting a week from tonight. So it sounds like we have a closed session at 5 o'clock, but we hope people can engage, give us feedback about those search firms before we meet at 7 o'clock to review and make our final selection for the city manager search. I learned from Jim tonight, I think it's, 12 or 13 years you've been city manager, which is a pretty long tenure, so it's been a really long time since we've done this process, and it's going to be probably one of the more consequential decisions we're going to make as a commission. So we appreciate your engagement and input, and we're looking forward to the next phase as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel. Vice Mayor Hess?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Indeed, Chris, Mayor and I also had a chance to meet with those Ukrainian mayors, and they wanted to know from us about our system of government and what we did here. And all I don't know about Mayor, but all I wanted to know was, how do you stay safe? How are you keeping your communities together in this time of such unrest? And they were very gracious and really, really enjoyed our community. They wanted to take a break, and they wanted to go over and see the art fair and experience Kalamazoo. And just really grateful to them and to Global Ties Kalamazoo for bringing those mayors into Kalamazoo. Sister Sue McCreary opened up the meeting with a profound prayer of asking for actually bringing the grace and the love of the congregation of St. Joseph, all of who are women of great faith and who care deeply about the city of Kalamazoo. And she said that all that we do here is given that element of trust and faith. And we have to bring that to our work. And I assure you, I bring that to my work on a regular basis. Especially now, in this search for the city manager, we have to have trust and faith in the process, in each other, as we move through our beliefs and how we sort through the information. So we have to have trust and faith in that. We need to have trust and faith in our Department of Public Safety, who comes out every day to serve the city of Kalamazoo, especially on those really tough days where we have incidents like the domestic violence, the loss of life of Soraya Robinson, and my heart goes out to her and her family, and those who have lost a friend and a mother and a relative. So the public safety who actually dealt with that and then really did great work in finding the person who shot them. I want to give gratitude to our Parks and Rec department. They don't get a lot of shout outs, but Parks and Rec is really busy these days. They have a lot of seasonal employees, and they're running kick pool at this point. They're running summer camp opportunities for so many youth in our community, and I'm just really grateful to them for what they do. And as I've said before, we can choose community or chaos, and I choose community. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Appreciate it, particularly just relative to the very, very unfortunate events with mother killed by gunfire in front of her 8 children, as well as other unfortunate incidents that occurred downtown at the same time. And I believe Commissioner Wilson, a young person who was struggling and maybe threatening suicide. And I think you witnessed up close how our own public safety department responded to that and gently interjected themselves and helped de-escalate. And it's just a reminder that, we all live here together. We're a family in Kalamazoo, and sometimes we don't always think about it that way, but for you that I have the honor of serving with here, there's something a little bit different about when you decide to ask to be more symbolically in that circle of being part of the family and helping think about and care for that family. And oftentimes we might get some of those texts in the middle of the night that say something's happened, something serious is going on from our public safety department. And I think when you step into this space, you feel somehow more responsible that you don't want this to be happening while you're sitting in these seats. And the woman who lost her life in that incident is someone who's quite connected here, has relatives here in Kalamazoo that we see and know very, very well, spends a lot of time in this chambers. And getting back to that family piece, sometimes not being happy with things that are happening. So just like any family, we've got our functional, our dysfunctional, and our agreeing and not agreeing part of it. But it just reminds me, it is so important that we keep recognizing that we're going to continue to find a way to work together because we care about this community. And I really appreciate that that's what everybody here I'm sitting with, staff included, brings to the table. Thank you. I love you, Kalamazoo. We're adjourned.
One thing